Welcome to my presentation. My name is Bastián Jiménez. This is Learning Through Healing Disruptive Behaviors. Let's first talk about the context. I attended the school Escuela Bilingüe República de Paraguay. It is a low-income school with a high level of vulnerability. Also, they have many students with emotional issues, which could be ADHD, abandonment issues, or they do not tolerate frustration. So the context we are facing in this situation is challenging schools. They are defined as a learning environment with frequent physical or verbal altercations among students. They come from low socioeconomic status, and the level of involvement from parents is also very low regarding school programs. This is the way Marulanda coined the term challenging schools. How can we tackle these contexts? My answer throughout socioemotional learning. These two authors, Marulanda and Peckrun, agreed on something regarding socioemotional learning. It is a process where not just achievement is being addressed, but students' emotions are important as well. The level of instruction should be focused on the learning process, but also to solve issues inside the classroom and outside as well. If we have to evaluate the characteristics of the class I observed, I would say that it is a second grade with 44 students, and many of them were very disruptive. The description of disruptive students could be that some students fight roughly, other students throw rambles to other kids, to other children. There are other children who yell or scream very loudly. At the end, nobody pays attention to the class, nor to the teachers, me and my guy teacher. She does not really know how to tackle this situation because of lack of research in terms of classroom management. Hence, we have to unpack disruptive behavior. We have four large bubbles where we can see factors involved in disruptive behaviors. The first one, emotions. The second is environment. Then we have motivation, and finally instruction. You might see that environment is bigger than the others. That's because students portray some beliefs, some background, and some relations from their environment that they carry to the school. They have a mindset behind them which is added to the things that they learn inside the school. Now let's analyze them one by one. We have emotions. Students usually do not know how to solve issues regarding their emotions, regarding the school context where they live, or also regarding the context where they behave. They do not know how to communicate effectively, and they do not know how, and they are struggling with that. The level of excitement created by the teacher is a very important aspect of teaching strategies, because as you may see in this quote, the level of achievement will increase if students are motivated. If they are encouraged to participate, and also they should create this self-regulation towards learning, because they will feel the need to learn, and also they will face the situations in a very positive learning environment. The big one, environment. Students usually come from very hazardous contexts, and they have to face these situations inside the school, so it's a little uncomfortable for them. As Michael Matania states in Leach, students um, students now have more issues regarding psychological pathologies due to the moment where we live, and due to the hazardous situations that they face. If teachers do not tackle this as a preventive strategy, it won't be time to make something after. Now we have motivation. The students do not know how to learn, so effective instruction would increase the possibility that students have to learn, because they are not very motivated by the content that they see throughout the year, because let's say the textbook is not enough to learn, because it is not considering the concerns that students have. It is not part of their context. It is very detached from their context. And now we are facing a new era, which is multitasking. Furthermore, we can say that students' attention is approximately around 10 minutes or less. So teachers should prepare a class with more than two or one strategy in order to achieve this level of achievement. The final is instruction. Teachers do not usually know how to deploy effective teaching strategies. Moreover, the level of turnover in low-income schools is getting bigger because of the lack of resources to deal with challenging schools. Teachings tend to leave their jobs because of unfavorable working conditions, above all job dissatisfaction. This is not just an issue to teachers, but to the ones who are left behind that decision. So students are not taken into account in this process. Moreover, they are not considering the learning community that should be created in order to enhance students' learning process. After we have seen these issues regarding challenging schools and the aspects that are involved, how can we solve these situations through socio-emotional learning? We have this phase. Research has proved that mindfulness, play, and socio-emotional learning are very useful tools in order to tackle challenging schools. Here we can see that it appears that providing social and emotional learning might prevent behavior problems in a challenging learning environment, according to Marulanda. So we have three activities that that I as teacher would deploy in my classroom in order to decrease the level of disruptive behavior and to enhance students' learning process, learning experience. Meditation and breathing exercise. Students are seated on the floor in a circle. They should breathe like this. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Thus, after that, students should put their hands in their bellies and then repeat the exercise, because they should feel how their belly stretches, how their belly stretches, and how their belly goes back to the normal size. Yeah? So, breathe, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. By doing this, students are agreeing on creating a different learning environment because they are trying they could try to focus their attention on their breathing, trying to relax and trying to avoid disruptive behaviors because they could feel that they are being that they have something to do, something to perform because we all can breathe. Yeah. The next activity we have is the racing exercise. This exercise is to decrease students' stress and also to change their willingness towards learning. We have here one racing, and we can make students take one of the racings from the pocket. Therefore, students should see how the racing looks like. They should, after, take the racing and touch it, feel how the surface of the racing is, and therefore they have to eat it but not chew it. Finally, they have to move the racing with their tongue all over their mouths, and then make the first chew, and then chew the first time. To feel the sweet flavor of this racing, they could be able to think of the processes involved in eating mindfully. Racings, they have a different surface, they have a different flavor, and they could be seen as something that everybody could do if they like racings. And if they have another meal, they can eat it in the same way. They can touch it, they can see it, they can feel. There are more than one process involved. There is more than one process involved in eating. So they should relax in that way to create awareness regarding eating. That is not something that we do mechanically. Let's continue. When we are aware of thoughts and feelings, we can choose our behavior, and choosing behavior is how we create our lives. Amy Salzman portrayed this very well in this exercise, because we are not just eating, because we are observing, we are taking into account the racing I'm gonna eat. Furthermore, we have physical play. According to Panksepp, a student could probably be better learners if they play. If they don't, they are more likely to have issues regarding their emotions, because while playing, people tend to create social interaction, and also people have more abilities in terms of applying the knowledge that they have acquired, and they can establish throughout play the level of learning that is expected from the teacher. The activities that students have to run around the classroom with the seating arrangement all at the back of the classroom, and they have to move around the classroom. Teachers should say some words, in this case verbs. This is the content, verbs. So the teachers say some verbs out loud, like jumping. So students do not have to just run. They have to run and jump. And while they are jumping and running, they can be asked to perform another action. If they accomplish this exercise, the objective of the class will be achieved. But then, if I give them the lead of the classroom, they could reinforce the same content that we were trying to teach. So as future teachers, we can give them the lead in order to work in a better learning community, because they will be reinforcing the content and the abilities that we want through play. Conclusions. As I mean to conclude, as we saw and as we felt, I can say that social emotional learning is a very useful tool in order to tackle everyday life situations such as aggression or altercations, because you're not just focusing your attention on on achieving results or putting marks or assessing someone's work. You're trying to measure and trying to create to raise or encourage people who have a proper level of stability in terms of emotions, and thus they will have a better ground, a better basis in order to become future adults or members of a big community regarding social emotional learning, regarding the social interactions that they could have, and finally you can make them aware of the situations that they are facing nowadays. Thank you very much.